It's called Girl Talk. Goes a little something like this.
Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to the Hammond Cast Show on our favorite station in the nation, KYOU Radio at 1550 on the AM dial in San Francisco, California, and streaming all over the world on the internet at www.kyouradio.com. Jon Hammond behind the microphone, keeping you company for the next 45 minutes. And you got your radio at the right place on the dial, because this is where we bring you the best in funk, soul, and blues. And folks, I got something really special from the archives I'm going to kick off the show with today. So I would like to ask you to take out your pencils and paper, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because Al Jazzbo Collins is going to tell you his famous beer bread recipe. So pay close attention, because you'll be able to make some fantastic sourdough bread with only 3 ingredients. And maybe even I can do this. I'm not real great in the kitchen, but I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to turn it over to my main man, Al Jazzbo Collins, and he's going to tell you how to make that beer bread. Here we go now.
Hey, Jazzbo.
Hello.
You know, with all this bread that they need down here at the station, it reminds me that a lot of friends of mine have been coming up to me and saying, I tune in the Jazzbo Collins show every week, and I've been waiting for that cool recipe for the bread, the beer bread,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a while. How about bringing a little bread down to the station, a little beer bread?
Yeah, beer bread recipe. Of course, I used to do that all the time. I'll do it before we leave the air tonight.
Oh, great. That'll make a lot of people happy out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they can bake a good loaf of bread with no trouble at all. Tonight, and I hate to spring this on you, I promised I would do the beer bread recipe before I left the air, and I have only about 7 minutes, so I'm going to do it because I can do it in about a minute. So in order to bake a beautiful loaf of fine sourdough bread, using only 3 simple, easy-to-get ingredients, do the following. You take 3 cups of self-rising flour. Make sure it's self-rising flour, because if you don't, you're going to end up with some concrete. So 3 cups of self-rising flour and 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 can or bottle of beer, 12 ounces. 1 can or bottle of beer, 12 ounces, at room temperature. Mix the 3 ingredients together. That's all you need. 3 cups of flour, self-rising, 1 bottle or can of beer, 12 ounces, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Mix those ingredients. When you get them together, make a little lump of dough out of them and put them in a buttered loaf pan, a 9-inch buttered loaf pan, and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then put that in the oven and close the door after you get it up to temperature, and give it 1 hour. And then let it come out after that and cool down, and you've got some beer bread that has been around the world 3 or 4 times now.
All right. You heard it on the Hammond Cast Show. Yeah, Al Jazzbo Collins. Thank you, Jazzbo, for telling us how to make your famous beer bread. So I'm going to check it out, and I hope all our listeners will give it a go, and we hope it won't come out like concrete. Follow the instructions closely, folks. Thank you very much for joining us on the Hammond Cast here at KYOU, otherwise known as Jon Hammond's Afternoon Slide. And sometimes we're doing it in the middle of the night, too, when you can't sleep. Be sure and turn on the radio, 1550, or on your computer, KYOUradio.com. We'll do our best to keep you company. Yeah, back in the archives, I found another recording that I'm going to bust out now. And this is a tune that some of you who know me might know this tune, but you haven't heard this version. In fact, I haven't heard this version for many years. And a good friend of ours played bass on this. His name was John Whitelaw. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. And I'm really happy to find that I do have a recording with John Whitelaw on bass. And we had a band together when I was 15, 16 years old called Hot Mush, featuring Brown Sugar on vocals. And he was one of the greatest bass players that came out of the Bay Area. Studied down at Cal Arts. And so you'll be able to hear him on this old recording. And also Frank Biner on vocals is going to bring you a positive message on this. And he passed away too, unfortunately. But he's going to bring you a positive message on my tune, Get Back in the Groove, on KYOU 1550 AM.
This song is dedicated to all the people who've been through bad times, trials and tribulations. You know, there's gonna be a better way. So just get back up into the scene, back into the groove. Ooh, yeah, you can make it if you try. When love's been cruel and you feel like a fool and you don't know just which way to go, your luck is down and you feel like a clown. Remember one rule you should know: you gotta get back in the groove. Get up on your feet and begin to succeed. There's no reason to feel bad. Just find the cure and you'll feel glad. The time is now, so take your bow. Remember you're gonna make it somehow. You gotta get back in the groove. Get up on your feet and begin to succeed. You gotta get back in the groove. Find faith in yourself and begin to believe. Get back in the groove and get back in the scene. When love's been cruel and you feel like a fool and you don't know just which way to go, your luck is down and you feel like a clown. Remember there's one rule you should know: you gotta get back in the groove. You gotta get back, you gotta get back in the groove right now.
All right, you're getting back in the groove with Jon Hammond on Jon Hammond's Afternoon Slide on KYOU Radio. Now we're going to go back a little bit further. That was a 1981 recording. Now we're going to go all the way back 31 years ago is when we made this recording. We're with my neighbor at the time, Bob Scott, the original drummer from Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks, and my old friend Mark Baum on tenor saxophone, my kindergarten roommate or his classmate from all the way back in 1958 in Berkeley, California, and my old guitarist from El Cerrito, Jimmy Thorson, now known to many people as Jimmy James on the big fat L5 guitar. Yes, Jimmy's Gibson L5 guitar is beautiful, and he played through one of those boogie amps when they first came out. Here we go. We'll put the hammer down the organ with this one. It's called the Hammond Walk on KYOU. yeah. Turning back the hands of time on 1550 in San Francisco, California. Jon Hammond's Afternoon Slide. Drive easy out there, everybody. Keep your seatbelts on. Keep it between the lines. This next one is by tenor saxophonist Todd Anderson, with Ray Grappone on drums, on guitar Barry Finnerty, and myself at the B3 organ.
always does.